Good morning and good afternoon to all. Welcome to the Ignite Tomorrow's Energy, unveiling the potential of green hydrogen in MENA pre-event webinar. In this webinar, we will provide a sneak peek into the summit agenda, featuring keynote addresses by renowned experts offering global and regional perspective on green hydrogen. This webinar is a unique opportunity for attendees to gain insight into current policies supporting green hydrogen in the Middle East, explore technological advancement, and learn about successful projects in the region as we prepare to bring together expert policymakers, industry leaders, researchers, and investors. This pre-event webinar offers a taste of the collaborative atmosphere, knowledge exchange, and network opportunities that awaits you at the Green Hydrogen Summit scheduled at Dubai on 5th and 6th of March 2024. Don't miss this chance to be part of the conversation shaping the future of green hydrogen in MENA. Secure your spot now and get ready to ignite tomorrow's energy landscape. Now, I would like to introduce our panel speaker, Doc- Dr. Samar Al Gahebi, energy expert, resource recovery specialist, carbon reduction analyst. Mr. Kuro Nicole, Chairman, Go Energy. And we have Mr. Sumit Agarwal, Renewable International Sales and Business Development, Climate Change Advisory, AGMS Global. Without further delay, I would like to hand the floor to Dr. Summer to talk about global and regional perspective on green hydrogen. Thank you and over to you.
But I want to say morning, good afternoon. I'm not sure what's the timing, but it is my pleasure for sure being here and be part of speaking session with amazing people around and also audience. So as general, we know hydrogen is a hot topic nowadays, but it's not a new topic. It has been, we know the hydrogen as a product long years ago. So I believe the global attention for the hydrogen is how to make it more commercialized, how to adapt it as one of the decarbonization solution. Because I believe the hydrogen, we're not just talking about it as an energy resource or electricity resource. The main driven of investing in big project hydrogen to be more a decarbonization tool, that we not just having one product at the end of generating this hydrogen. We are talking about circular economy. We're talking about zero emission economy. So one of the successful proven tools we believe is the hydrogen. So that's why it's a critical topic, heavy topic to talk about it, big investment in it, a lot of attention in it. Globally, we can see a lot of countries in terms of the hydrogen. We can see different hubs, even not just the countries. We can recall some like Belgium hub, that where they try to having the hub for building and facilitating all the ecosystem of the hydrogen, like the production, the transportation. Also, one of the biggest, I believe, the global project in Australia, where they also scaling up their capacity to be 15 megawatt. Also, we have Japan, we have Netherlands, we have also German, where everybody, when we say hydrogen, we remember German. So a lot of investment long away talking about hydrogen, how becoming more commercialized, it's how we proving from now. We are not the stage of R&D initiatives or the stage where we're not sure about it. Now we are in the stage of scaling up the hydrogen talk and scenario. So we are living excitement time, I believe, as a companies, as an individual. If I allowed me to start my talk more about the MENA area, I believe everybody remember that we start talking about hydrogen in serious topic and announcement 2020. But we take serious action as a region, as a MENA region. We can now, I believe all my colleagues here will know that 66 projects already have been signed on it. 85 of them is green hydrogen. There is a lot of potential in the MENA area as the resource of the energy, as the investment, as the location, as also the infrastructure of the MENA area, there is a lot of potential of the hydrogen to be MENA area leading in it. At the same time, we have a lot of challenge, which is the case. What I believe a lot of leaders around the world, the exchanging the knowledge, how will lead us to do this. Um, I believe serious action, as I have highlighted before, in the MENA area has been taken. We know, and I was talking with my friend Summit about Oman hub, how its potential. There is the first auction happening about from I think the Hydrum company who are leading this auction. Also, we can see that the advance in terms of neon project is happening there, and for sure in UAE there is a commercialized project in terms of green steel. We have a big project now is ongoing, which is Arkan Emirati Steel Arkan. It's how hydrogen can be a business case in terms of green steel. So this I am calling a lot of names of a project to make our session excitement, to see that hydrogen is not just initiatives and is not a strategy economy. No, it's already in the floor in terms of the MENA. I believe as today we will have to cover more on how we can over the challenge, recalling some cases that helping our audience to understand how we implemented the initiatives and the objectives of having a hydrogen project in our ecosystem and in our energy mix and in our economy. At the same time, overcome this challenge utilizing the resource on our MENA area or even globally. So I would love to go with my friend Summit, and we finish our conversation that we started before we got to the live.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dr. Samo. So yeah, I think hydrogen as a decarbonization measure is one of the most important tools. And definitely it faces the challenge of that we were discussing, that it's not a buy side problem, sell side problem. It's an economic wide problem. So like in the solar, a higher power purchase agreement solve the problem. In case of the hydrogen, it's just not that. It needs to be managed from the cell side as well. Like in terms of the cell side, they need to have these larger project infrastructure ones. You also need infrastructure like pipelines or respective hydrogen trucks to transport it, and probably some kind of a safety regulations around it. Then next step is probably on the buy side. So buy side people have been habitual of using electricity or some raw fuels like coal and all. So which is available still in the market. While hydrogen becomes a newer product, still there's a resistance. So when we look for financing of these projects, so we help a lot of developers finance, find the investors. What we see is that long-term PPAs in the hydrogen is still something of a challenge. And with those long-term PPAs and taking in account all the costs that comes into the productions and transportation, overall the IRR becomes slightly into a zone of a competitive one rather than becoming very lucrative. So those are the challenges which I see are currently there. Probably a global regulations or like for example, countries are Europe is coming with their own regulation. They want to be produce hydrogen regionally in the Europe. So in that particular case, how the other projects which are, let's say, being planned in the Middle East, how they which were looking to transport into Europe. So those challenges, the carbon credits associated with hydrogen, they also vary significantly in terms of their end price, depending on where they are produced. So we understand that the European carbon credit market is quite good. Parallelly, the same market, apart from Europe, US, or Australia, like these developed countries, has not grown that widely. So all of these challenges together that poses a challenge in terms of developing hydrogen to a commercial model, which industries can widely adopt. So yes, a lot of the project that you have spoken. So yes, a lot of support from the government is required to initiate all these projects.
Yeah, I believe, as if you allow me, I recalling the model. When you said model, like it's this is what we try to build it here. We need to have a success model in terms of commercialize the big project hydrogen, then everything will be on the market.
Yes, so probably we will need to see that how small players they are insulated. Like for example, if hydrogen is publicly available, how the small players are insulated from these long-term PPA obligations,
Yeah.
so that they are not obligated at the same time they can freely develop their infrastructure. Probably some more regulations around green steel, like if regulatory wise they say a green steel or a green cement regulation mandating a percentage of the use of the hydrogen, like European Green Deal, something like that in the Middle East, that would provide a concrete step towards an hydrogen economy. Items associated, like one of the key enabler is probably that I say is the blue hydrogen. Already the systems are available, people are using blue hydrogen, and blue hydrogen is less costlier than green hydrogen. So probably it can be used to stimulate the demand of hydrogen. And when the demand side is stimulated, it will be a lot easier to go for these long-term power purchase agreements with these particular buyers. Currently, if the buyers themselves are kind of exploring the use, and I think one of the again the key challenges with the buyers is hydrogen as a technology is evolving. Like
Mm-hmm.
pyrolysis, yes, exists. And then we are talking about blue hydrogen. But there are a lot of projects where we see they are looking for your pyrolysis or thermal cracking, which are at the stage where they have passed out of the lab and they are doing for some kind of a commercial testing. So another challenge is that if these projects become successful, okay, suddenly the cost of the hydrogen will fall down, and that also
Yeah.
poses a challenge in terms of, let's say I'm a buyer, I have kind of locked myself into a 20 years power purchase agreement, and suddenly I'm getting a cheaper hydrogen source, which can give me probably not at a $5, but probably at a $2, much cheaper than that. Now that causes a concern in terms of the buyer's mind as well. So I think technological landscape also, I think within 1 to 2 years, we should see some new technologies coming up. We are seeing some exciting projects which has already passed the lab. They are already looking to commercialize, putting across their concept projects. And once these projects are successful with 1 to 2 years of probable running and the kind of nitty-gritties that these processes possess, I think they will give more comfort and more investment towards these projects. But currently, that is also one of the stage that this transition do not make it easy for, I would say, medium companies to invest heavily into hydrogen.
I'm totally with you. Like it's ecosystem. If you allowed me before we go to I believe we will be on this open discussion, all of us as the speaker on this session. But if you allowed me, I want before we go to our guest, I just want to highlight that I'm not sure if I already present myself because or my friend Ram already introduced me, but my position here at FTB as a semi-government, we are facilitating the concept of filling the gap between the investors and also the government as one foundation to scale up the project. And I worked closely in terms of the hydrogen strategy for the UAE. And what you have been highlighted now, it's exactly the four angles that UAE government is building all the strategy, all the needs, all the gap, which is first I have highlighted in my introduction about exchange, which is the global collaboration, because this kind of project could not be providing easily or scaling it up easily to the market. And the resource and the assets, as you said, we have medium sized companies, we have bigger sized companies, we have our resources as the gas infrastructure, we have our industry, a big investment around on this industrial let's say parties. Also we have the safety, you are talking also about the safety. And fourth, also we having the enabling this infrastructure, as you say, the supply chain, the transportation. uh, we cannot having this without focusing on investment heavy, let's say. time, heavy collaboration, heavy partnership. And for sure, I would love to recall when you said hydrogen is technology. So R&D, the fifth element on building this. This is, if you we cannot talk about the project from these five angles. I think hydrogen projects or hydrogen initiatives should be restructured, because these five elements, this is what all the strategies, especially UAE, proven through government level, that we should focus on it.
Hey, thanks a lot, Mr. Sumit and Dr. Samar. I think it was a very insightful conversation. To add more to the conversation, I would like to invite Mr. Kuro Nicole to come on a video. Mr. Kuro, you there?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to the audience. So it's a pleasure to be here. I think it's a very great opportunity for everybody to be in this event, because we can discuss, as we are seeing with my colleagues, about the topics. I will introduce some topics for discuss today, and in the event is about the regulation. I think we don't need to forget about the regulation, because it still is new projects, new developments, and we need to see from the government aspect how is the relation in the different countries. I think we need to work in this, in the legal terms, to see how is the scenario for all the players, and to see how is the safety for the investors. So we need to work in this, because now it's very early in the beginnings of the projects. Other topic that I think that we need to work is about the delivery times for the technology. We will see in the next 2-3 years how the suppliers can go to the demand of the market to supply all the different projects that they are announcing around the world. So we will see if we have the capacity to supply all this technology to the market. So I think this event is really good opportunity to discuss all these topics that we are talking. Being like an investor, I want to see how is going the market in MENA. I think MENA is very good opportunity in private sector. From my perspective, I think industrial sector will be very interesting for this transformation, for the decarbonization. And me, I'm going from the side of the green hydrogen. I think my expertise in renewable energies give me this possibility to make these experts to this project. So I'm very glad, and I'm very excited to be in this event to comment all these topics.
Also, it's our pleasure to meet you personally. I'm talking and exchange the knowledge, exchange the technology, the know-how is the key for our learning curves, hydrogen, and even as a general, we try to build the economic concept around as MENA. This is what, as a global concept, all the countries or the communities and investors community start understanding. Not just technology or one solution, is about how you evolve this technology and this initiative to be in the whole ecosystem.
Yes, I'm totally agree. Now, from our position like investor, we are see that there is creating some hubs of hydrogen around the world. So we are see in Europe, for example, in Spain. I'm Spanish now. I'm in Spain. So we are creating new hub in Spain in the south for provide hydrogen to the north of Europe. So I think we will create very good hub in Spain. We have projects now in Huelva, for example, very big projects, and I think it's very good hub for Europe. Also, other hub is Saudi Arabia, Oman. They are developing very, very big projects now in the region MENA. And Australia also is doing now developments for Japan. So I think this market is very also interesting for us like investors. So I think in the event we need to see how is the opportunities for the players, but we need to see the scenario, because today is very in the early stage, all the big projects, that we need to see how is the market, and we need to convince to the industrial companies to use this green hydrogen or blue hydrogen. So I think this is a great opportunity to see for the companies how is going the technology, because I know For example, with solar panels, we have some issues 10, 15 years ago, and now the technology is totally different, so it's more efficiency. So I think with the high electrolyzers will be exactly the same. We will go to other technology, more big electrolyzers with more efficiency. So we need to see exactly how it's going, because for the investor, we need to see our return of the investment. So now we are in the beginnings, but we are building the future, and the future is now.
Yeah, I believe on this. We have a huge investment in terms of resource. Maybe we have a challenge in allocating the resource, which is the water. I believe we are in an area we have water. That's we need the come of technology and the R&D part, and where people should invest more on it.
Yeah, totally agree. Always when I'm going, for example, to explain our project, the people say, "What is happening with the water? Where,
Yes.
where are using the water?" You know, it's the topic question that everybody say to us when
I
we
mean,
start the project.
we are facing this as an area. We are doing a lot of desalination water project, but still costly, still not in the ecosystem. Matter of
It's,
expert.
yeah, exactly. And I think that the desalinization projects can be run very good with hydrogen, but we need big scale, you know.
Yes.
And this is the problem. And in some regions, we have this project, this with this problem of the water, and we are thinking in use the water from desalinization, from the recycling water. So also the technology need to help in this way about the water. And there are other issues also in the technology about iridium, for example, what is happening with the iridium for the electrolyzer. So this topic also is important, because with iridium, for example, we have a problem because we don't have enough iridium for all the planet, for all the electrolyzer. So
Yeah.
in the technology way, we are still, I think, in the early stage.
Also, for me personally, it's like when I'm talking specifically about green hydrogen, love to know your opinion. When we talk about the the allocation of the resource of the land, we're talking about green hydrogen, build solar park, or we build wind park, and then we have the, especially if we're talking about scaling up this project, allocation, the location, and all of, especially our GCC location country, you know, the space not that huge. UAE itself, not talking about Saudi, talking about UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, the small land space. We're talking about kind of big projects. That's why when we talk about hydrogen, it's becoming a hub, as you, not just one country. This topic need to be investment also, as I would love to know more about what is the main challenge as the or a many MENA area particularly. It could be handled by exchanging this
Yes, for sure. This is one of the challenge that we have in MENA area. But we need to see involve the private sector. From my perspective, I think like investors, we need to have a safety umbrella for these projects in MENA with the regulations from the government. But in my opinion, we need to push for private sector and for initiatives from the private sector for the industrial, for example, steel factories, chemical factories, paper factories. I think that they have a lot of big consume. And for me now, we are very approaching to the data centers, for example. We know that in the MENA region will be a lot of new data centers for intelligent artificial. So I think this is other way to provide to the data center with green hydrogen, and we are working now in that. So I think it's many opportunities, but we need to create this umbrella for the safety of our investments.
as a product. What do you think as a product for the high? What is that attraction nowadays? Because what it's important for me when I'm talking about hydrogen is not our supply. It's more like we have an end more than the electricity. So Summit and Core, I would love you to have a cases around, or you have any coming projects around, share it around, it will be.
Yeah, we are focused now in not in directly hydrogen. We are focused most in ammonia, in butanol. We are thinking that the derivates from the hydrogen, because with ammonia, for example, for the navigations, we are thinking more in this kind of customer for the PPAs. So not directly hydrogen. We can use hydrogen in some applications. For example, with Air Liquide company, they have hydrogen long time ago. But we are thinking more in this application to navigation, for example, with data centers. So we are thinking more in these sub-products from hydrogen. So I think in the short term is more this kind of applications.
As you say, the creative demand and the application, it does to see tangible results and for all the investors and the government's initiatives in terms of hydrogen. I would love to hear your opinion on that, Summit, if you are. Hello? I think we lost.
Hey, Dr. Samar, in fact, Mr. Sumit Agarwal just messaged me that he had to log off the meeting for his next meeting. But meanwhile, I have received one question from the audience. Probably, can I go ahead and read out that?
What is the question?
Yeah, let me read out the question for you.
Yes.
Okay, one of the participants asked, what are your views on blue hydrogen and green hydrogen in terms of overall deployment and economy-wide usage?
Yeah, the question is it's very interesting. Usually in our plans for the technology suppliers, we are thinking about 10 liters water by kilogram of hydrogen. This is more or less the portion that we are using for our projects. So there are different ways to obtain this water. Desalinization. When we are planning big projects, usually we are planning with desalinization in MENA area. Other ways, the recycling water. We have some projects close to the factories of recycling water, so we are thinking to use this recycling water. So this is the way that we can reduce. And in other projects, we have some resources in the same land with lakes. So we are finding always resources, water in the land that we are positioning our projects. So for sure, the water is very, very, very important. But I think with the technology in the next 5-7 years will change. We will reduce this quantity of the water with new filters and with technology. But for sure, this water challenge is one of the topics.
Perfect. I think next in line we have somebody on the in the meeting. I would like to allow them to ask question. We have Renewable on the line. Renewable, you can unmute your line and ask a question.
Hello, good evening everyone. I am from India and I would like to understand that this green hydrogen, which is definitely is growing all across the globe, and this is a new technology. How the technology is going to come and how the resource alignment will take place, because if you look on the resources, there are very few of the resources who are aligned to this technology. So what is your thought process and what is your strategy about it?
Well, in our case, there is true that it's not many technology companies in supply electrolyzer. Today, we can speak about 7-8 companies around the world. And this is a very problem because we don't have too much visibility about the delivery in time. So the electrolyzer now, the site, it's more or less around, for example, we have in Siemens Energy, this electrolyzer, the Silicer 300 is 20 megawatt, but still there are a small capacity for the production if we want to go to big projects like 100, 200, 500 megawatt. So still the electrolyzers are very small. So we are thinking in the next 5-7 years, everything will change and we will have more big electrolyzers. and we can go with more efficiency in our projects. So the one of the really challenge now is the delivery time for the electrolyzers. And the electrolyzers, you know, it depends the factories we are demanding the projects. So I think this is other project. The problem that we have with the delivery depends the region that you are located. In China, they are developing now new factories. In Europe, they won't, but I know some cases that they cannot go with more factories. So I think the power of this investment is also the factories. You know, we know now the panels, the solar panels, for example, they are in China, all the most production of the world. So I think that the China's company, they want to go in this line also, no, to provide the electrolyzers from China. So we need to see, and this is geopolitical. I think from the government perspective, I think to support these technology companies is very interesting if you want to have geopolitical power in the world for the new era about this decarbonization. So my recommendation to the countries is to invest and to support investment in technology around hydrogen. How it works, basically the technology is working with water, like I see before, and with, in the case of the green hydrogen, with solar panels or wind, we are using in our projects solar for our expertise. And with the electrolyzer, you separate the molecule of water and oxygen, and we can take in gas. And the problem is the pressure. This is other challenge that we have for the transport. If we want to transport the hydrogen, the pressure is very important because it's very high. We are talking more than 700 tons bars. So this is other challenge for the trucks because there are very expensive trucks. And if you want to transport the logistic of big quantities of hydrogen, is very complicated. So what we are designing in our projects is to transform in the same plant to ammonia or other derivatives of hydrogen in the same plant of the production, because the logistic is very complicated. So we need to work more in this logistic, you know, especially if we want to provide to ports or airports in the future. So I think the technology will be a challenge with the pressure, with the trucks. So this is other question topics that we need to work.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, thanks a
Welcome.
lot, Rinalini. I would like any participants who would like to ask questions, please click on raise hand option from the meeting. So meanwhile, we have one more question coming up from Rajesh Malhotra. The question I would like to read out that what is the percentage increase expected on hydrogen in ME region for X works to X delivery station for mobility?
This question is for me or for everybody?
You can choose.
I believe in terms of hydrogen and mobility, it's a big investment coming around. We can see a lot of OU. We can see big companies existing like Honda try to do this concept of and again in the industrial side like the. And I believe it is wisely good to invest on the track concept for the hydrogen and because could be the tangible outcome. As percentage exactly in the MENA area, I believe it could grow more in terms of the industrial more than the other sectors, not as individual or as residential. But there is a good actions in terms of initiatives in the market. I'm not sure if Caro want to add on that. I think you are muted.
Sorry, about the mobility nowadays is a very big question because anyone know what is happening. Before everybody speak about lithium, about the electrical cars, you know, and now we see that the companies, they are moving This is also geopolitical, and we are thinking that the hydrogen will be present for sure in the mobility, but in different stages. I think we cannot say that everything is hydrogen mobility or electrical mobility. I think will be a combination of different technologies in the next 10 days. Probably to the aviation will be more delayed because they need a lot of rules, safety law, so will be more delayed. I think the best and the first application will be for the navigation sector. I think navigation sector is very clear. They are doing very effort to change all the engines of the ships. So we will see this application very in shortly time, like 3-5 years, with derivatives of hydrogen, like I said before, like ammonia, bioethanol, or something like that. About the cars, trucks, I think the industry now is thinking they are in this point of see what they do, because they do a lot of investment in electrical cars and they are not recovered this investment. So they are now thinking, where is the next step? There are companies that BMW, for example, that they say that the hydrogen cars will be the products that they are using. But there are other companies like Ford that they are thinking what they do. Toyota say, for example, that they want to do also hydrogen cars. So I think now is a very early stage to see how is exactly the market going. But in my opinion, I think that we will see in next 5-7 years a combination, and in 10 years probably the hydrogen will be increasing for the mobility. But still, I think it's very early to see what is going.
Hey, thanks a lot, Rajesh. In fact, I've asked these questions on behalf of you. In fact, if you have additional questions, I have unmuted your line. Please go ahead and ask if you have any additional questions.
Thanks, Ram. In fact, I just want to expand on this question. Thanks for replying to me on that. In my perspective was that what kind of a cost percentage which you are expecting to increase, because obviously the infrastructure has to be all new and this has to be laid up and this has to be all built. So if there is an X dollar per kg on X works, then what is that X plus Y you are anticipating when it goes to the delivery station? Because that is where the cost of energy which is available to the common user, that will drive the potential market and potential usage of the hydrogen, especially for the mobility part of it. So do you have an estimated anticipated cost increase?
In my opinion, from our perspective, it depends the countries. We cannot speak in general about the cost of the production of its work, because we need to see how is the cost that we have for the projects, the land, the water, the tax that we have. So we have different components to see how is the last price. In my opinion, now we are see the price is around 10, 11, $9 kilogram that we have now in the market. And the perspective and the idea that we have in our finance model is go around $3-4 kilogram. So this is the prices that we are thinking in the perspective in our finance models. But we need to see country by country. It's not the same Europe that MENA, that US, because the cost of the production is not the same. The cost of the electricity, the cost of the infrastructure. So we need to see country by country how it's going exactly the prices. But I think good reference for the next 10 years will be around $3-4 kilogram.
Thanks, Kuro. But then just to clarify, this $3 to $4 is at the production site or at the delivery station?
No, it's the production, in the production side.
So if we say that there could be, I'm just estimating or guesstimating 50% increase in between the production site to delivery. So we are talking about something around $6 to $7 per kg when it comes to a delivery station for delivery to the customer, correct?
Well, depends on the customer. If we are talking about the mobility in hydrogen station, is one thing. If we are talking about the big consumer, is other thing. The plan is in the next 10 years for the last consumer will be around the $4, $5, $6 kilogram maximum, depend the country. In our perspective, for example, in Europe, we need to go around $4, $5, $6. In MENA area, I think if we want to be competitive, we need to go less. So that's why we need to make more big scale projects. You know, if we do more big scale projects, we can reduce this price. But we need to go 3, 4, 5 in MENA area for be competitive with other products.
I read a report. Can I continue this talk, Ram? I hope I'm not taking too much time on that. Ram?
Sure, you can go ahead with the one last
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
I have read a report on that, Kuro, which says that by 2030 in Oman per se, the expectation is that it will come down $2, less than $2 per kg by 2030 in Oman. So do you think that that's a realistic figure?
In Oman is realistic if Hydron do all the plans that they are doing now, because I know very well what is happening in Oman. So if they are doing this big scale, they are using the oil and gas model for the hydrogen. I think they have some issues in the model because you need to pay some royalties to the government for the producing for the land, and this is different than oil and gas. I think